Spaced Invaders.
Yeah, not Space Invaders. It's got nothing to do with the video game, sadly.
Spaced Invaders. I
Like
saw this as a kid, and I loved it back then.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
That's why I recommended we do this one, and I was wrong.
We had the same reaction then. You brought me like, how about Space Invaders? I'm like, oh yes, I remember that movie. I want to watch that again. And then, yeah.
I always thought this was the movie where they need to find like Halloween candy to power their spaceship home.
Oh, that's the last Halloween.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to watch.
Yeah, okay.
But nope, we watched this instead.
Yeah, so this one, it did not hold up, but I do remember it fondly.
It's weird. It came out in 1990. It has decent suit creature effects, much like the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
The same year.
It's definitely like has a lot of Ninja Turtles influence because you have 4 green, wisecracking creatures that go around in public in disguise.
And they were doing a lot of Mars, because, they're Martians. So they were doing Mars stuff before Mars Attacks or Red Planet or any of that shit. Mission to Mars. Because Mars got hot again in the mid-90s, I guess.
Okay.
And then, of course, it was super hot in like the 50s
Mars Attacks,
and all that. So it's kind of a throwback to that.
Yeah. So, like, Martians hear a rebroadcast of Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, which is that famous, radio play where they, adaptation of the H.G. Wells story, which in the 30s put people in a panic because they tuned in later and didn't realize it was a fake, broadcast.
Just a prank.
These Martians hear a broadcast from their spaceship in space, and then they think it's real and that it's happening on Earth right now, so they want to get in on the action.
Get on the killing.
Yeah. So
that's the thing is, the aliens, the Martians are non-redeemable assholes, every single one of them. They don't really befriend the kids in the movie well. Like, you figured they would become their friends and stuff.
Uh-huh.
They're all kind of dicks to them, even when they're, like, hanging out together. They're never nice. It starts in space, and there's the Imperial Atomic Space Navy. So there's this probe droid thing. I think it's called an enforcement droid or enforcer droid. They're putting them on every ship in the galactic whatever in across their fleet. And they go to the Arcturus sector, and they all die. They crash into the sun. So then it cuts to a ship of wisecracking aliens who are on like asteroid patrol in the asteroid belt in our solar system.
Who taught you to drive, you moron?
And they decide to attack Earth because they hear the War of the Worlds broadcast and think it's the Navy calling for help. But it makes no sense. If they're assholes, why wouldn't they have already owned and taken over Earth if they have an atomic space navy? It never made sense to me.
Well, aliens come down on Halloween, so we can at least leave it at that.
Yeah,
So,
like, I'd be fine with, Martians come down to Earth, but they build this whole thing up, and they made these giant space props that look like Sequest DSV, shuttles and whatever. Like, I don't know why they did that. When they could have just said Martians hear it and they attack.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they show up at the radio station because they
which
trace
is
the broadcast.
WELZ for Wells.
Oh, okay. The main hero is this little girl, Kathy, who is Ariana Richards from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, the Unix system.
Yeah, she's like this sci-fi fan who's the only person who knows what's up.
Her dad's this new sheriff in town from Chicago, and there's like a farmer who is getting foreclosed on a guy who dresses up as Hulk Hogan later in the movie, but they don't really acknowledge that much. And he wants to get pictures of the alien ship so he can make money, but then they trick him, but everyone speaks English. The pilot of the ship talks like Jack Nicholson, right? And he has like a leather bomber's jacket, like they've been to Earth.
It was
before.
in Mars Attacks.
Yeah. So he's been. It kind of reminds you of Destroy All Humans, where the main character kind of sounded like Jack. The movie's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, so they've been to Earth because they dress like humans and they wear the same clothing and they
people think they're trick-or-treaters and stuff.
Well, that's another thing. Well, the pilot doesn't really go trick-or-treating. It's the other aliens who want to kill everyone, which is kind of a funny point when they're forced to go trick-or-treating with the mom and all that stuff. But
I guess we can mention some good things. That the aliens do look cool. I mean, they're expressive.
Because of how the heads were, they couldn't see out of the eyes, so they're completely blind the whole movie, which is why they like stumble around into things.
Okay.
Because they have to be told where to go.
There's this guy in the background, the one scene, who looks like the old man from the Enter Sandman Metallica video.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he looks a lot like him. I compare them side by side. They look very similar. Or maybe it's the same guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and also
this was 1990, and Enter Sandman was like 91. So
there's also the candy bar.
Okay, so that candy bar, the Zagnut bar.
Yeah.
I've seen that in Beetlejuice also. Yeah. And I'm like, what's up with that candy bar? Was that like a thing in the 80s? I don't know. Do you know anything about that?
I thought Zagnut was just like a chocolate bar they had back then, because there's no way it was just in Beetlejuice and this.
So I've never seen that bar in real life until now.
Wait, did you go to the store and you find Zagnut bars?
So I went on Amazon.
Oh, gee. Why? Because you saw it in this fucking movie?
Here we go, Zagnut.
Oh my god.
I wonder if it's actually from the 80s.
You should get these out on Halloween. Oh.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
So anyway,
I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel. Just update it a bit, do a little bit better job.
I feel like you can make an awesome movie like this, even with the same title or otherwise, where you could have aliens, they do another War of the Worlds thing. Aliens come down, they hear it, and then there's like a trick-or-treating thing. I think like no one will even remember this movie happened. I think you can do it fun nowadays.
They spend so much time rebooting and remaking all these films. Why not reboot something like this that could use some improvement? Space Invaders.
Well, because when you reboot things, you have to make the most money.
And not enough people are going to remember Space Invaders. Is that the idea?
Right.
But then aren't you trying to, if you're rebooting it anyway, aren't you trying to like bring in a new audience? Otherwise, just make a sequel.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't get it.
A few things I like. I like the captain of the ship, who's a real dickbag, gets hit by a car.
Much credit.
But he ends up at the gas station where he enslaves a guy in a Zorro costume that looks like Christopher Lloyd a little bit, young Christopher Lloyd. And he does his biddings, but I thought the acting of the Zorro guy was really good. And he ends up building this giant farm death machine that's like 50 stories tall and is made of farm parts that's supposed to like water the crops or whatever. Because the whole town's in desolation, and that's a plot point of the movie. And they use it to escape at the end. And, of course, they blow up the enforcement droid, which was the problem the whole time. They pretend that they're going to blow up the Earth with the Donut of Destruction, which is stupid. And their ship's going to accidentally cause a black hole in the center of Earth and kill everybody. A lot of stuff happens.
That was a movie, too, the black hole.
The black hole's good. But the movie ends like halfway through, like it's kind of resolved, and then it keeps going. The movie drags.
On the other hand, I wish that you loved it so much you could have livened the mood of this video. But I'm very sentimental towards this, but I just don't think it's that good a movie.
I mean, Zagnut, Beetlejuice, I have a Ghostbusters reference in this movie. So they are using their weapons of destruction to destroy the Earth, and they shoot a missile silo, but it's a corn silo. Get it? And they turn it in the popcorn, so the popcorn shoots all over the city. But when they're shooting it, the same ray that comes out is the same from like a proton pack. Like,
really?
Yeah, it looks exactly the same.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait, did they just rip that from the Ghostbusters? That's weird. I guess the last thing I want to say about this is the guy who directed this also directed Baby's Day Out. And wrote fucking Dragonheart with Sean Connery, so you kind of get what you put in.
For a while, Baby's Day Out was, whenever I was asked, what's the worst movie you ever saw, I'd answer with Baby's Day Out. Even though it's a little bit too mainstream, it has too much of a budget for it to be like, I don't know. I mean, budget's not really the answer either. It's just, I've seen worse movies, which we will do sometime. We want to do the worst movie challenge.
I'd like to see a gritty reboot of Baby's Day Out.
A gritty reboot of
You know what? A gritty reboot of Space Invaders would be good.
Yeah.
It'd be like a Killer Clowns from Outer Space type thing.
Yeah, like use the same type of aliens, like have it be the same characters, but just make it more like, I don't know.
Or do it like a Stranger Things type like Netflix show where there's like kids and the aliens come down and it's like a little mini series. That'd be fun. One more thing. The end credits have a custom song about the Space Invaders, so I'll let that play while we.
I don't know if I think I might have hit stop before that.
Definitely. It's awful.
Okay.
Yeah.